I'm Jonathan and welcome to my channel, Jonathan's Diamond Painting and Stuff. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you choose to stay and continue to like my videos, and if you're coming back to me, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you here. So today I'm doing my usual whip and chat with my progress update for the hashtag Familon UK event, which is soon to be over. I think it's going on till the following Tuesday, so not this Tuesday coming, but the Tuesday after. And I'm really, really going to be working really hard to try and get this done. I've got 10 sections left now, so I've picked it up a little bit. I've got a basically, if I do one a day, I'm okay. Haha, I'm a poser, I didn't know it. Yeah, so I'm really, really trying really hard to get this done because I want to chill out a little bit in November. I'm going to do some of Solar System, but I'm not going to pressure myself to finish that in November if it's not going to happen. I want to do some little Christmas kits. I've got the Christmas edition of the Paint Gem sets. I want to, I want to go back home. I'm going to hopefully take Sarah back to my hometown to see my mum and dad, just for her to, see a little bit of where I'm from, because I've seen a bit of where she's from. And so I just want to chill out a bit because I think going into December, I'm doing the Advent kit from Diamond Art Studio, and I think that'll be a bit more full on. And obviously, getting closer to Christmas, things are going to get more and more and more stressful. So I want to kind of just not push myself too hard, but try as hard as I can anyway. So I do feel the whip and chats I'm probably going to reduce to every other week from November, but December they may come back every week again while I do the regular progress updates for the Christmas Advent kit from Diamond Dot Studio. But we'll just see how things go. Really, I'm certainly not going to be doing daily videos to that because I think that might be a bit much. But we'll see how things go. Okay. So I'm really, really still enjoying this kit. I mean, there's a lot of confetti getting further down you go, and it's not letting up yet. I really, really enjoyed the last row, actually. It was a bit of a change because it's still the house, but it's just the bottom section of the house. So, but I will, I'll talk about it more in detail when I've got it in front of me. But yeah, lovely balance of confetti and a lot of lines and things, and good use of ABs again. But I'll just do the little pan now. I've already done it, so I'll pan of what I've done so far, and then once that's done, I'll come back and I'll just do a slightly different view again. I'm just experimenting with the camera views, so you can see me a bit better. So I'm going to go from this angle this time, I think, so that you can see what I'm placing, because I think my hand was getting in the way in the last shot. You see, I'm continually trying to improve, if I can, So okay, so I'll just switch to the overhead camera after the pan, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, this section has been really interesting actually because we started to get some people and some things in it, you know, and you'll have seen from the pan, but we've got, I think we've got a bearded man here who is casting some kind of spell. And we've also got a lady, I think it's a lady in the doorway, and I think that might be a necklace of some kind. To begin with, I thought that was a Santa, with the red and everything, but I think that this could be a Santa sort of character, and this is his wife, Mrs. Claus, I guess, if you're going with the whole Christmas theme with the snow and everything. But there could be more to a story than that. I actually did have a little silly notion that I should make my own story up and read it out with my post review, you know, because I am a bit of a writer, you know. I'm not like anything successful published, but I thought it would be quite cool for me to do a little story to go with this painting, you know. So if you'd like my own interpretation of a story for this, you know, it's not, you know, just let me know. It'll just purely me improvising off the top of my head. But yeah, just let me know in the comments, and I can do that or not do that, depending what people want. But yeah, so then you got a little boy just here, just walking towards the old man, or dancing. Maybe he's dancing, you know, with all the little the magic spells that are coming out the old man's hands and everything. But yeah, then you've got some more trees, some shrubs. I'm just trying to see what you can see. Yeah, I think it ends here, doesn't it? So some shrubs, there's some beautiful snowy ABs there, highlighting that. I just love this outdoor trellis with that inner walkway that you can see highlighted from all the lovely shading there. You've got some kind of chandelier in here from the beautiful white going down to lemon ABs, and that just beautiful, beautiful shading with that yellow just going deeper and deeper. That is just beautiful. And the door, just open doorway that is so inviting with the lanterns, and you've got the snowmen here. Now, one thing that was really weird was the snowmen are actually purple in places for the shading, and it looks so odd when I was doing it. I actually second guessed myself thinking, have I got the right colour? Did I kit it up right? You know, is that right? But when you step back, like I've always said for a lot of this painting, it looks fine, and it just gives that 3D sort of shaded effect, you know, when you step back. And I love this 1212. I don't know what that signifies, but yeah, but obviously it's something in Randal's world. But yeah, so I just have to imagine that, I guess. And a lovely lamppost here, so which has just been finished off in this row. So yeah, just trying to see if you can see. You can't quite see the top of the lamppost, apologies, but you'll be able to see that on the pan I've just shown. Yeah, so very glad that this is kind of the end of the mountains now, finally. But I'm guessing it'll be replaced by equally frustrating things. But yeah, so like this square I'm just about to do is I'm going to focus entirely on a tree, almost, you know. So it's like this lovely, lovely fir tree here, which is snow covered. So, and it looks, what on earth am I doing? But then when you actually finish it and look back, it looks incredible. The just use of shading with all these different blues and purples and some dark greens. You would not think that these colours would come together to create the amazingness that this kit is. But yeah, this is by far the best kit I've done so far. But I know I've not got much to show off yet because I've only done Literate Dragon. But this is an amazing kit. You know, so really, really, really enjoying this. Okay, so I'm just going to switch the camera up so you can see what I'm doing, and then I'll go in and have a little chat. So it will be listed in all the details for the kit, but this is Home is Where the Magic Is by Randal Spangler. It's a Diamond Art Club kit. All the details will be linked below. I am working with various different systems. I've got the art dot storage drawers with their standard cylindrical storage containers. And I'm also working with some of my colours in these confetti boxes by Lunia 3D. I'll try to link to the Lunia review if you've not seen these yet, but you'll see as I work with them how they work. I've got 2 pens at the moment. They're both Diamond Art Club pens in 2 different colourways. They're just available on Diamond Art Club's website, and they've got one of their one forever placers, single placers on the one end, and they've got I've got an 8 on one and a 10 on the other. I've not gone up to the 12 yet, purely because it's just not necessary right now, because there's just not enough big blocks of colour to justify the 12. I think I would only justify using one that big, and to be honest, the 10 is pretty big to not really need be needed most of the time. It's only when I've got lots of long rows of colour that I don't want to do too many passes, with it, that I'd use the 10. But I've got all the sizes now, I think. Yeah, I think I've got a 4, but I gave my 4 to Sarah, and I think Alan's got one of my other 4s. And I've got 2 6s because I've got one for my husband. I've got an 8, a 10, and a 12. So yeah, so very much invested in that system as well. Oh, sorry, these are the trays that come with the Lunia containers. I had an issue with my recent order with Lunia, which is being sorted, so I'll let you know when that's all rectified. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at my previous WIP and chat for the Familong week 6, but I'll try and link it above as well. Okay, and of course I'm working with my Add More Zest trays. Right. Oh, and the putty in the pens at the moment, which I don't think I'll need to change today, is Cat's Putty, and I'm working with a new scent from her at the moment called Cashmere and Musk. But yeah, so that's a beautiful, beautiful scent. Sweet, but it's got lots of undertones, this scent. But I'm rubbish at picking out what this. I just know whether I like it or not, and that is very, very nice. So yeah. And I have lemon buttercream sometimes, and I've got pecan waffles, and I'm also working with the Halloween treat scent. I haven't bought all Cat's recent scents, just literally because I can't afford to buy it all the time, because I have to stretch my money out in all different places to show you the best things I can. I love Kat and I love her products, but even I can't buy every scent every week, much as I'd love to. Okay, so let's get going. Right, so I've been filling out all these dark areas in between because I thought that might be a bit more interesting, as this is almost all tree. So I thought I'll fill out the dark areas and then I will build up the lighter areas in between afterwards. So let's just get another dark colour. I don't have all my colours in the confetti things, unfortunately. I just didn't have enough containers. Like I said, it will all be sorted soon. Okay. Right, so this week has been a bit of an unusual week. I didn't have my counselling this week because my mum and dad came to visit. They were seeing some old university friends, and they were seeing some old university friends, and they wanted to break their journey up, so they said, "Oh, can we stay with you for a night?" So they came in the afternoon on Wednesday, and we went out for a nice meal at a local pub that we'd eaten at before. So that was really nice. So also, Alan had quite a lot of time in London this week. So sorry, I changed the view just so you could see a bit better. Yeah, so we we went for a lovely meal at a local pub, which we'd been at before, and that was really, really nice. Actually, I mean, St Neots, we are struggling for nice places to eat. You know, I think we used to have a really nice pub in an outlying village, which we went to with my mum and dad whenever they came over. But then we went back, and it just wasn't, as a lot of time it can happen, it just wasn't quite as nice as it had been before. So we didn't tend to go back to that one, and then since then we've just struggled really to find places that, you know, was nice. And we found a really nice place for Alan's birthday last year, but then they sorry, not last year, the year before, and then unfortunately their owners, who I think did the kitchen as well, just retired, you know, and it closed down. So unfortunately, yeah, that one went. So yeah, but this one is a really nice pub in one of the other side of St Neots, and yeah, they just do good home cooked food, and they have a really nice menu. Our only complaint really was I don't think they changed the menu since the last time we went. So yeah, but but the food is really good quality and good old fashioned English pub food. So if you're not residing in the UK, what I mean by that is we have a lot of British classics in our cuisine, you know. So it's often stodgy food, you know, things like bangers and mash, fish and chips, pie and vegetables. I mean, we do like at this time of the year a lot of our winter veg, things like carrots, parsnips, red cabbage occasionally, all things like that. A mashed potato sometimes. Obviously chips, you know, with certain meals. And we do have a penchant for Yorkshire pudding as well, which is it's like kind of made from a batter, and then it rises in the oven, and yeah, it's just beautiful, you know. And this time of year, when you want to be warm and cozy, and out from the cold, you know, that sort of food is really, really comforting, you know. So yeah, but I think I had a beef brisket pie, which was very nice actually, and I think that came with vegetables, I think, which were very nice as well. And then I had what I have a lot of the time, which is sticky toffee pudding, because that was just lovely last time, and I always like that. You know, I'm a bit predictable in puddings that I will have, you know. But I think, in my defence, I don't think there was a lot on the menu that I would have had actually, apart from that. But I think might have been a cheesecake, but the cheesecake wasn't available, although I wouldn't have cheesecake this time of year. And I think there might have been a chocolate brownie or something like that. But yeah, I really, really like stodgy puddings, unfortunately. But yeah, so really enjoyed that meal, and it was just really nice to spend time with my mum and dad. We came back and to the house, and had a bit of a chat. My dad, before we went out, actually, he brought a ridiculously old bandsaw, which was actually my grandpa's. So my grandpa died, unfortunately, of a stroke when he was in his 50s. He was very, very young. My sister Katie hadn't even been born yet. So this was in 1987, and he was a really, really keen craftsman. In his spare time, he liked to make stuff. He made cabinets for my mum and dad. And I think he made a lot of furniture in the house my mum lived in when she was growing up. And I think he was actually planning to make her a violin. But unfortunately, tragically, he was taken from us, so he didn't get a chance to do all that. But he had a garage with all this amazing equipment in it, and my dad inherited a lot of it. But this bandsaw was one thing he inherited, and it's still going, and that bandsaw must be, well, it's older than 40 years, I think, because he had it a long, long time before, before I was born, I'm sure, as well. So, yeah, but it's still working. My dad's actually had it pat tested, to comply with his business unit and everything. So it's just, but anyway, my dad used that bandsaw to trim down my Literate Dragon diamond painting, which I will try and just show a picture now of what it looks like without the edges going over, and I think it actually looks a heck of a lot better, but and I really prefer how it looks now. It's just so funny because my husband and Sarah, I asked them both about it, and about, and I showed them pictures and everything of like how it was going to look, and and I showed Alan particularly pictures of the magnet frames, and that they were above and everything, and did he want them the same length as the picture or not, and then he said, oh, no, that's fine, longer is better, but then of course when it was up and when I'd done it, oh, no, I don't like that, it has to be the same length as the picture. So anyway, I decided to get it trimmed down, at Alan's request. But to be honest, it does look better, and I would have had it that way already, if it was my choice, So, yeah, all's well that ends well. Apologies, I think I was just going off camera then. I think I've repositioned it so you can see now. So because of all of that, I didn't have my counselling this week, but I actually feel okay. I don't feel terrible about it. And I was actually wondering whether this might be the time that I should reduce my counselling down to every other week. But I'm going to talk to my counsellor about that, see what she says. But, I'm in two minds of it, because obviously I'm still off sick. I want to get back as my planned return of January, but I don't want to have it if I don't need it that often, and obviously it's harder to find things to talk about if I'm struggling, to find subjects and things, if I've seen her only the previous week. So I'm just thinking about it, but I love my counselling sessions. I feel like right now she's like an old friend, a wise friend, as but who says constructive things back, when I bring up a point or anything, it's not just like one-sided, it's really important, insightful things that actually help me move forward with a lot of things. So it has been helping a lot. I need to get another sick note soon. I'm trying to decide whether I should keep going like a month at a time, or whether I should just bite the bullet and just ask them to sign me off till after January. I don't know. Anything stresses me out, to be honest, with my work and my sickness. And actually, I do have some stuff to say actually about the work thing and how it's been affecting me, and how I want to effect some change in my life. And my husband actually said, oh yeah, you're kind of having a midlife crisis. And I thought, oh, am I? And he said, well, it's the sort of age you are when you have one, if you have one. And I guess I kind of am, because I'm really considering my future and considering, I've got another 20 years of my career to go, and I don't want to spend them being unhappy. So, but unfortunately, it does involve making some hard choices. Um, I am thinking whether there are some administrative roles, or more office-based, not patient-centered roles that I could do, um, that include my nursing, or whether I just take a step back from nursing and go into more administrative routes. I've been researching, I mean, I thought years ago before I came back into nursing, because I actually took some time out of nursing, I think it's in my very, very first WIP and chat that I talked about that and about my journey. So I'll put a link up to that now if you're new and you haven't heard any of that. But yeah, so it's so I took that time out of nursing, and then before I came back, I did try and get into like a administrative route, so for like a medical secretary, but unfortunately, I guess I wasn't as well qualified as some other people. I hadn't really done any other courses, so if I did do that, I guess I could do some typing courses and some computer courses and stuff too. Even though I'm quite good at most of those things, but yeah, but it is an option I'm contemplating. I mean, one of the issues is at the moment I've got quite a lucrative position. I'm only in like 3 days a week. I think I'm possibly contemplating going down in my hours again. So I'm doing 28.5 at the moment. I think I'll be going down to 24. If I reduce my hours like my husband said I could, and if they accept that. But yeah, so it's only one weekend a month-ish, so I have to work Christmas, but a lot of jobs you do. So it's not the worst job in the world at all, but obviously I don't want to be stressed in what I'm doing. So I'm still considering that, but what the right thing to do is. But I mean, bizarrely, the NHS, which is the National Health Service in the UK, it's one of the biggest employers in the world. They actually have a questionnaire on their website, on the one about job opportunities and everything. A 50-point questionnaire, on what the best job would be for you in the NHS. So last night I actually did fill it. I did do it just before I went to sleep last night. I was just doing it in bed, just what the heck, let's see what I'll be good for. I mean, I purposely answered questions in a certain way, like to try and move away from like patient care and everything. And it did come up with a lot of medical roles, and I was surprised actually that medical secretaries are actually can get up to the band that I'm on at the moment as a nurse. So I was like thinking, and I did have a little chat to my husband about it. Like if I did that, would he be okay with that? Because I probably won't be earning as much straight away, although I will probably have to do more hours to begin with than I have been doing. So it'll probably be Monday to Friday, and stuff like about 37.5 hours. And there might be potential for me to reduce my hours later on, but right now I won't be able to. And he seemed okay with that, because I think he's been really worried recently that I'll just lose all motivation for working at all, because this has been just such a stressful experience, and I want to get back to work, but I'm just not convinced I can long term return to what I've been doing with the amount of stress, because it's just not going to change. The job, from what I can tell, hasn't changed in the 5 years that I've been there. It's not changed since I went off sick, and it's just not going to change. And I've tried, to provide suggestions to be innovative, but sometimes I'm just it's just really difficult. You know, your suggestions don't always get taken on board, or yeah. So I've always found it quite stifling at times, but that's just how it is, I'm afraid. You know, so yeah. So I'm thinking about all those options anyway. About what I'm going to do. I mean, I'd love to just quit and just sell stuff that I've made and actually have people love that and enjoy that. But I know that it's not always gonna happen, is it? You know, so and I don't really want to go back to working 5 days a week. But on the other hand, if I'm actually happy in the job that I'm doing, then that would mean a lot as well, you know. And I have to have a good amount of self-worth, you know, because I feel I get really, really anxious, you know. I get the RC, the rejection sensitive dysphoria with my ADHD symptoms. So that is like where you any negative feelings or feelings that you haven't done your best, or if you have an altercation with someone, or even if someone has a constructive discussion with you, you can have quite a negative response to all of that, and that can impact you a lot. And you're often going over conversations that you had, even if there was nothing untoward said. You can go over these things over and over and over in your head, and it's horrible. I mean, I've had colleagues that in the past that I've said like something in the heat of the moment, and they've been quite unkind to me, and I've tried to set things right, tried to apologise, tried to sort it, and I've never been able to recover those relationships, and it is just horrible, you know. And I feel sometimes I don't know if you're a neurotypical person whether you can actually just move past those situations and say, well, yeah, that's fine. But for me, it takes a long, long time to get over these situations. So I've really struggled with that in the past. You know, I'm getting a lot better. I'm just accepting who I am and getting more understanding of myself, and you know, and my own identity. So I'm a lot better in myself than I used to be, but yeah, it's still not easy, you know. So just doing some of these now. So the other big thing that happened this week is my friend Sarah. So, well, to do with her. So my friend Sarah is she's got undifferentiated connected tissue disease, which basically means there's lots of different conditions that it includes, including bits of an autoimmune condition called lupus, bits of which affects the immune system, bits of fibromyalgia, which that affects like the joints and everything, and you've got bits of rheumatoid arthritis, which affects like the hands and some of the joints as well. And she's I think she's got some Sjogren's syndrome, which is like affects like the eyes and the saliva, I think. So there's so she's got a lot of problems, you know, and I've known people through my life with complex issues, but what I love about Sarah is that she isn't ruled by them. You know, she's her own person and she has her own identity, and she doesn't let her medical issues, no matter how bad they get, define her, which I love about her. She's one of the most amazing. Well, she's probably one of the most amazing people I've ever met. You know, so I love her dearly. So anyway, so this recently Sarah's been on a kind of an autoimmune special diet. It's like a kind of elimination diet because she's been struggling to try and lose weight for a long, long time, and she's tried every diet under the sun. None of them have worked. She's she can like barely eat anything and then still be gaining weight, and it was bizarre to me. But anyway, she started this autoimmune diet, which is, I call it the low joy diet, because it just has very little joy in it. No, not a lot of sugar, no processed food. So basically things like certain vegetables, salads, meat, and very little else. Fruit as well, so certain fruits, So yeah, so it's and then she can gradually introduce things again. Like she tried to reintroduce eggs, but then then she had a bad reaction to that. Her fibromyalgia flared just after, so we decided, oh no, we can't introduce eggs again. And we tried that twice. And you do that with lots of things, like I think wheat is one of the last things to reintroduce, unfortunately. But you reintroduce all these different things, and monitor yourself, like, for the effect it has on her condition when she reintroduces each thing. And if she can't tolerate it, she just doesn't have it, unfortunately. So it is very difficult, to manage. Sarah has recently started on methamphetamines for management of her ADHD. I mean, I'm kind of hopeful that if they diagnose me, that something similar could be done for me. So that basically deals with the deficiency in dopamine that people with ADHD have, and it just kind of helps you produce the dopamine you need to give you the motivation you need to be motivated to do things. And because Sarah's been taking that has motivated her more, but it also has the effect of reducing your appetite as well. And in fact, some people that have severe weight problems, they can go on the meth, I think, to reduce their appetite. It's not used very often, but it can be used for that reason. So because Sarah's on this drug for this and that, it's actually helped her, actually, because I think before she would not have been able to motivate herself to keep off the sugar. And she can get to the stage, as some of my friends from the Diamond Art Club UK group know, that we'll often go out and I'll have something really sweet because I love my cakes, unfortunately. But Sarah will just have like a salad or something, So yeah, but she's fine with that, and she's not. I feel guilty. Well, I felt guilty to begin with, but then she said, no, it's fine, just have what you want. I don't mind. So I do now. But we're okay, and we learned to adapt and to get her, like, the fruits. She can eat, like, blackberries and berries and things like that. She likes having, like, the frozen strawberries and raspberries and berries and things in her water. So it's just learning to adapt to these things. But recently, Sarah, well, she had some raw coconut, and we don't know if it was this or not, but she had quite a lot of raw coconut, and then she had severe abdominal pain, really, really bad, which we thought, to be fair, was a case of gastritis, and we were really, really worried about it, actually. And it turned out... So, to begin with, the first day or so, it was like, okay, I think Sarah was actually round at mine, but she was in quite a lot of pain with eating, and so she can have episodes like this on and off, so we didn't do anything about it. But then Sarah was really, really in pain that night, and so we had to call 111. She went into the hospital, and then they sent her back, and then she ended up having an ultrasound the next day, which I took her for. And they found some bits and pieces. But anyway, the crux of the matter was that this pain continued, and she spoke to her GP, who was actually very good, and fast tracked a lot of things, and we didn't know exactly what she'd done. But then all of a sudden, Sarah had a CT scan for her abdomen booked on the Saturday, and then an endoscopy, which they'd said she would need anyway to investigate the stomach issues, on the Sunday, which she's just had. I've just got back from taking her for. So anyway, and one of the letters that came to do with all these tests actually had suspected cancer service on it. And so we were both a bit freaked out by that. I mean, we knew it was all the fast tracking of everything, you know, and they weren't, we didn't think for a second that it was that, but I guess it just hit home to me how much Sarah meant to me, and, you know, what the thoughts going through my head of, like, what would happen if anything happened to her, and how could I manage, you know, because she's my best friend in the world, and I don't have a lot of friends, and in all my life I haven't found anyone that I connect with as well as her, apart from my husband, of course. You know, so I know neurodivergent people like me do struggle to make social connections, and it's a miracle that we actually found each other, because we click so well. It's amazing. And yeah, I was upset, you know, but she was as well. But we've been supporting each other really well. I've been there for her as much as possible. We've been doing some sewing days this week to take our mind off it. And anyway, we got to the weekend and she had her scan yesterday, and obviously she's not heard anything from that, but then she had the endoscopy today, and we found out that she had a hiatus hernia, which basically means a valve, like, kind of going down towards your stomach, just above your stomach, isn't working as well as it should be, so some of the acid is refluxing. And it's a totally manageable condition. You shouldn't eat too much like 4 hours before you go to bed at night, and obviously taking your PPI, your proton pump inhibitor, that's like a metrazole, that produces this acidity in the stomach, but taking that half an hour before you even have anything to eat, and take your other medications in the morning. So, and it did show that she had some gastritis, but no other issues really at all. So we are quite hopeful that there's nothing on the CT scan, but obviously we've got to wait for those results. But it's quite a big relief today, you know, but I took Sarah because she needed sedation, and she was humming and hawing about that, but I think she's so glad she had the sedation in the end. So yeah, and but happy to try and support her as well as I can, and just, yeah, try not to feel too relieved, but until we got all the other tests. But I'm hopeful, you know, that there's hopefully nothing, you know, going on there, you know. So yeah, and we're both a bit morbid people, you know, when we're talking about things quite frankly, which I think is the best friendship to have, really. I can talk about anything, you know. I don't have to tiptoe around hard subjects. We say the C word. We're honest and open about it. And if this happened to me, I would hope that Sarah will be the same, you know. So we're very frank and honest and open about it. But that's probably why our friendship works as well as it does. So apologies, I'm not even taking another thing. I'm just talking too much today. Yeah, so that's what's been going on with Sarah. She has given me permission to talk about all this stuff, you know, so just so you know, because I wouldn't talk about things like this without, you know, speaking to the person first, you know. But you all know Sarah anyway through the videos I've done with her, and obviously this is part of me, you know, that, and who I am, you know, that I like to talk about this with you. So unfortunately, I haven't got a film this week, because we were going to watch Elemental last night, but Alan was feeling a bit unwell, and I've been pushing myself with this, and I'd actually made some progress, and I was kind of in the mood to some of my video game, and that was the first time I've actually touched Final Fantasy 16 in a few weeks. Anyway, because I won't let myself do it unless I've made the progress with the diamond painting. So I decided that I probably wasn't going to pick it up again until is that my until November when the Familom is finished, and then I could really concentrate it when I got some more time to chill and do it. But I did manage to do some last night, and that was really enjoyable, actually. I mean, I had a frustration moment, as I got back into it, got used to the controls again. Yeah, but Final Fantasy 16 speaks to me quite a lot because, as I've said in some of my other videos, I just love harkening back to medieval times or a world, or the fantasy world, where technology hasn't been quite as developed as it has in reality, and it's a bit of a simpler time and a simpler life, and I just like to lose myself in those sorts of thoughts. So yeah, and I mean, Jan, my friend who admins the DAC Fans UK group, I was commenting to me the other day about my majestic ship, saying, "Were you a buccaneer or something in a past life?" And I was like, "I've no idea. Maybe you never know." But I don't know. I don't know whether I believe in past lives or not. To be honest, I don't not believe in them though. But yeah. So I think part of me, when I was writing my novel, I was so fed up with the world at that point that I just had to feel I had to invent another world which I could escape to. One that I'd actually wouldn't mind staying in, I guess. But as healthy or unhealthy as that was, I found it quite cathartic actually, creating that world and just escaping there with my characters and everything. So yeah, it's it was really, really positive for me mentally at the time. But Final Fantasy 16 is a game that is set in medieval times, as some Final Fantasy games are, and it's quite like Game of Thrones actually, just a lot of political things going on, but also lots of fantastical things happening as well, but lots of betrayals and things like that, So yeah, it's and I think that was the inspiration that the creators drew from, when they wrote it. So if you're into video games, I would highly, highly recommend it because it's just the characters in it are amazing. The world is amazing, and it's probably my favourite Final Fantasy game for years. To be honest, it's really, really. Oh, there's a concave one there. Just take that one off. I'm gonna have to put that one in it. Yeah. So but yeah. But I'm probably boring a lot of you with my talk of video games. But yeah, I do love my fantasy games, particularly my Japanese role-playing games, JRPGs, which can be a bit of a talked down about term. I don't know why, because Japanese game developers have made some of the best RPGs of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, so. And then I have been getting into my audiobooks again. So as you know, I've been getting into Slayer series, which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe audiobook series, which has brought back a lot of the original cast from Buffy. And I've really been enjoying that. The premise of that is that it's set after all the events of the 7th season of Buffy, and it involves basically a storyline involving Spike, Giles, and trying to think who else. Clem, one of the demons that appeared in the later seasons of Buffy. I think Olivia, Giles' girlfriend, is in it briefly. And then there's an alternate reality, and so there are other characters that have died in the Buffy universe but are in existence in this other reality. So that Cordelia's character is there. So there's Cordelia, Anya, Drusilla, and Tara are in existence, in this other reality. But I'm not going to spoil anything. That was just in the synopsis in the blurb, So, but it's really well done, really immersive. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, there are some negative things associated with the original series of Buffy, which I'm not going to go into. But I think they have a female writer. I think Amber Benson, who plays Tara, is one of the writers for it. So I think they're very much trying to step away from the shadow that has developed around the original. And I think, obviously, the original Buffy did amazing things, and none of the cast wants anything negative to happen to the show in general, which I think is why people talk so little about what's actually happened. But it's nice that they're trying to, I guess, move past that and make a really good follow-on show. So, no idea whether there'll be a sequel or not. I've not got to the end, and I'm basically trying to only watch an episode or so a day. But I'm really, really enjoying that one as well. And my other thing that I am doing at the moment is I picked up my audiobooks. So obviously that's a series as well, but I've picked up Raymond E. Feist's Magician, which is part of his which is part of his Rift War cycle. So Feist is an American author, fantasy author, who he created a world called Midkemia, and it involves rifts into other worlds, interdimensional travel, quite a few themes which are quite radical for the time. He was quite lucky in the fact that he was in a D&D group, a Dungeons and Dragons group, and they created Midkemia through their meetings, and he said, "Oh, I want to write a book. Could I use this world as the basis for my novel?" And they all gave him this permission. So he had all the world building, the maps, character, everything just done for him, basically. Which is, as a writer, I know how hard those things are to do. So yeah, he was really set with all that. So, but anyway, I think there are various different characters that stretch through different books, but the first book starts, and it's centered around a young boy called Pug, who is a kitchen boy in a castle, and it just goes around him and how he becomes aware of having magical abilities. And it is just very, very slow world building, but in a very satisfying way. So you start off in the castle, and then you learn about castle life and what it was like for boys, like at 14 years old, and they were apprenticed, and they and what would happen to them if they weren't apprenticed, and they go and learn their trade, and just the surrounding castle life and the hierarchy with the Duke and then the kingdom, and then the power with the king, ruling over everyone else, and just how that all worked. It was really, really interesting. And obviously this world has magic in as well. And then there's this conflict that happens with the rifts. So it's... I think that if you really like fantasy and you haven't read this yet, it is an amazing novel. I'm just over halfway through, I think, and if you are into audiobooks, it is a very, very good value for money because it's just like you get about a 40-hour book, I think, for the price of one credit. So to me, it's a no-brainer if you want to make the most out of your credits. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, but very, very much enjoying his work, and it's just actually I'm really, really bad at the moment at watching TV while I'm diamond painting. Guilty. But and I mean I've got another bigger screen set up in front of my diamond painting, and it's just yes, it's really enjoyable, but it does slow me down. But I do really enjoy it, so it is hard to like sometimes drag myself away and then do an audiobook instead, where I'm more effective with what I'm doing. I mean, obviously, I'm really slow here because I'm just trying to talk to you. When the fact I've done about 3 colours is probably progress, but yeah, so. But I am mindful I've been rambling quite a lot today, and I've obviously had quite a lot to tell you with my news, and I think it's just clicked onto the hour almost with this video, although I know I'm going to clip out bits and pieces, but I think it is getting towards our time, I think, today, and I do need to get on. It's like 6:10 here, and we've not had dinner yet, so yeah, and I think it's possibly murder mystery tonight if Alan is amenable, and I do like to try and spend time with Alan if I can, particularly as we didn't manage to watch the movie last night, so apologies for that, but I'll try and watch a movie this week, so that I can talk about it, because I know some of you like that. But yeah, so I hope the other bits were useful. Going into next week, I've got a video already filmed for Tabby Night, which I'll be releasing towards the middle of next week, and then I will be doing my final whip and chat of this next weekend at some point, and then once I've done my final whip and chat, I will do a post review with the completed kits, because it won't be finished by next weekend, I'm sure. But it'll be right down to the last minute, I think. But yeah, so really, really enjoying this, and looking forward to finishing now, though, because it's just been a bit of a process. But and I've never pushed myself at a diamond painting as hard as I have with this one, and I'm surprised I've stayed motivated, so I'm really proud of myself for doing that. But yeah, so if you like this video, please give me the thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to me yet, and you want to see new videos like this, I'd very much appreciate hitting the subscribe button, and then if you want to get the notifications when I release a new video, just click on the bell icon and click all to get all the notifications. I have got an affiliate link for Diamond Art Club if you've not yet purchased a kit. If you haven't purchased a kit for the first time, you can get a $10 off your first purchase, and I'll put the link below. Just a little note, I do get a small commission for that, which I would put towards buying more diamond art related things, which I can show you on this channel. Okay, so without much ado, I'm going to go now and enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.